Yeah, very good evening, everyone. Welcome to the session. I welcome you all to the session. In yesterday's session, we have understood about how to, I can say, install our settings. That is integration of your portal.azure.com with an enter ID, right? I hope it was very clear. You now we will see whether that particular logs are coming or not, because yesterday when we started working on that, it was not fully, uh, you know, start. It was not in. It is integrated. However, it was there is no logs coming, right? So now to overcome that, and to understand when the logs will be started and all that, we will discuss on it. Okay. So in the Microsoft Sentinel, when you see the Sentinel law. When you see the Sentinel law, you go to, let's say, configuration management and the data connectors. We can see that whether the data is connected or not. You can see now the enter ID is now enabled. See, and along with that, the other components also added. These are known as the default connectors, or we also known as defender connectors. So we also come to know that there are some default connectors generally connected to this particular Sentinel, like defender, defender for entity, defender for endpoint, defender for cloud activity. Insider, this is a new defender services that have been added, so we can get these kind of things. So you can see here the other platforms are also added automatically, but it is not when it is actually takes some time, as I told you, right? Whenever there is a such kind of things comes, so it will get added automatically, and because it is integrated with the XDR. So these are the 7 connectors as a common connectors generally we can see. However, the logs may not be there with respect to that, but you can see if any communication happens, you can see from this particular area. So because the logs will be integrated, these are the automatic internal services that is nowadays is adding. So now what we need to do, we need to see only the enter ID, because yesterday we have added only enter ID, right? When you click on the enter ID, you can find there is a spike. See, you can see there is a spike and there is a logs added, and there were one logs started. You can see, and when you click on the open connector, you may find some logs over here. Like you have seen the graph activity logs, okay, and you can see this was the logs you identified from. You can see here, and also maybe the other logs may not be started because it takes time, as I said. So only one logs added as of now. So you can see here. However, the sign-in logs and audit logs will also come. But you want to see the Microsoft Graph activity logs. You can see there is a count is something like 1000, and if I see the query in the SQL mode, it will come up. See, let me. If you see, click on it, right? See, the logs have been added. See, these are the logs, various logs. So it has been added, and you can able to see here. Okay. So this is the way you can identify there are some logs that have been added to your organization's things. Okay, and you can see even here also. mm, this is not the one, right? Sorry, I mistakenly clicked on it. You can see the Sentinel and the data connectors. Yesterday we have done, and yesterday you saw this enter ID. It was in a gray in color. Now it is in a green in color. Okay. And also there are some another one is also there, that is Microsoft Enter ID Protection. This is a again defender for Enter ID. This is another service which have been added automatically. For this we required a P2 licenses which is available, and you can enable this. But before that we need to enable some of the services. So connect Entra ID protection to the Sentinel. Okay. So this is what we required to do that. For that we need to enable the from the product ID Microsoft Entra ID connection to this particular workspace. Okay. Right. So let's say now we have, of course, we started getting the locks. See, non-interactive locks are also started coming. It's actually showing when you click on this, you can edit. Audit logs will also come. It takes some time, but you can see here when I go to KQL mode, and if I remove this content, you can see the logs of the, see, just now I logged into it, right? So that is the same logs. Just now I started connected with the portal. The same log it is actually showing now. So now you can see it is a recent activity. You can see what was that? The time, if you see, if you see 1:37, if I change it to 5:30 local time, you can see just now, right? 7:07. Now it is 7:12. That means this log was just generally just now started in my organization, because just I started this portal.azure.com, right? Now if I create anything, let's say if I try to log in with any other portal now in my, let's say, in a incognito mode, if I now create any logs, it generates. Let's say if I select admin @SNTL0225 dot on Microsoft.com. Now, if I do some errors, because as I said, right, you have to do some mistakes, then only, I mean, it is login failure related. And also you can try for a, see, these are some services which I'm doing. I can't use cancel. I failed this one. So I did it some things. I did it some things which are actually, uh, it will generate some notifications, right? Now you can see once after this, activities, you may find after this activity, you may find something like there might be a new log. So when I go back to this is an activated logs, right? So when I go back to this, you may find some new logs in the enter ID, which is maybe something like sign-in logs and all. So we need to check when we refresh, you will get those logs. Data connectors, enter ID. So now you see sign-in logs also started coming. As I said, right, once it is connected, then only the log started. See, now it is started with sign-in logs. When I click on the sign-in logs, you will also find the sign-in logs where you may find some login failures followed by a login success. See, there is a sign-in activity, login success. Login success. And also some are more failure will also come. See, just it is success. The failure will also come, but we need to wait for some time, okay? Because it takes some time to show the logs. And in other way, if you see, it spiked. Now there are more logs. Now you can see some interactive logins fails you may find in this environment. These are the success areas. These are the only success things you may find. Even the authentication failure, the second activities. It will come up, but it takes some time, as just I told you, right? The real time, of course, the real time will come, but it takes some time. Yeah. So this is the way when you integrated the enter ID logs, you will get it like this. Now it is time for integrating the next, that is a resource monitoring logs. So as we know, we have uh, resources, right? We have resource groups where we created our applications, where we created our VMs, where we created so many different type of activities and services. Okay. So in such a case, I want to know who is doing what kind of activity, who is actually doing what activities. So for that, what service I have to monitor the resource group, monitor the resource groups. I have something known as activity logs. I have activity logs. So, but for various resource groups, I have various logs, right? So let's say if I create a SOC resource group and marketing resource group, so I have to, every resource group have its own activity logs. Activity logs here, like that. If I have 100 resource groups like this, how many active logs I have, activity logs I will get? How many activity logs I will get? I will have 100 activity log sources. How many? 100. So in such a case, so I have to have activity log here, because every resource have its own activity logs, right? Activity logs. Now the problem here it is, I cannot go and each activity log and tell you now forward your logs to log like this. So where I need to tell, I need to tell to this particular resource group activity log. Now where you need to forward these logs, you need to forward this activity logs to log so that I can see in my Sentinel. Okay. So for that, rather than like we have enter ID here, when we have an enter ID, as it is only one we told to enter ID data connector, please, whenever you are having logs, please forward to this log. So we have told in a data connector because it's only one. But in this area, we have hundreds of resource group, and in future also a new resource groups may be created, right? So it's, of course, if it is a resource group activity, it may come up, right? The new resource group can add in future, and but now these are new. Whenever there is a new resource group created, the new activity log comes, even I want to forward this logs to log. Okay. How to kill this issue? For this, no problem. We have a data connector. We have a data connector that is named as Azure Activity. Azure Activity data connector. Okay. Now what it will do? What it will do? It is, let's say if it is here. So this data connector activity is whenever any new resource group created. Let's say any new resource group. Let's say these are the old. Of course, as soon as you create this data connector in the in Sentinel, if you added, it will ask to create a rule. It create a rule. Create a rule. Now what it is creating the rule? In the rule, now these resource groups creates where? under one subscription, right? Let's say this is my subscription. This is the subscription, okay? Under this only these kind of resource group creates, right? So Azure activity will directly tell to the subscription whenever you have an old, whatever you have your old resource group, and whenever you create a new resource groups, what you need to do, you need to forward those logs to this log under Azure Activity Connector, like this. If new one comes, if any new resource group comes, then also those will logs, because this rule is given to whom? Subscription, right? So in the subscription is clearly mentioned, whenever there is a new or old is there, so automatically old is going to stay here. I mean, going sending logs to law. Whenever new creates, what is the activity? This is also need to forward the logs to this law. Now let's say out of these many, I don't want one. Let's say this is the one I don't want. Yes, no problem. In the rule, you can also specify what you don't want. Let's say this is you don't want this. So you can say you can exclude this. Okay. So this data connector, Azure Activity Data Connector, once installed, it is writing a rule. Now what is this rule name? What is this rule? Rule is known as DCR rule. DCR. Now what is the full form of DCR? DCR is known as Data Connector Rule, where the respective data connector is telling to the subscription, when whatever the old resource groups are there, you tell to this resource group, now onwards go to log. Now you are sending your Azure activity logs to where? Activity logs to which law? That is Sentinel. In our case, it is Sentinel 0425 law, right? This is what the law which we created. So the Azure activity logs are forwarding the logs to Sentinel law. That is perfect as per the DCR rule. Now, what is DCR rule? Can anyone tell what is DCR rule? What is the full form of DCR rule?
Data connector rule.
Very nice. In the data connector rule, what we used to say? We will give the instructions. What you need to do. To whom we are telling? We are telling to the subscription. So who is the subscription? In my case, it is Trinix subscription. Okay. Let us do the same activity so that you can forward the logs of all the Azure activity, so that you can see the data in your Azure activity environment. For that, what connector first I need to install? What connector?
DCR.
No, it is a DCR rule. What is the connector name? Azure Activity Data Connector. Very nice. What connector? Azure Activity. Because what logs we are collecting? We are collecting activity logs, right? Once we are collecting activity logs, what connector we need to do? Azure Activity Connector we need to install. So how can I install for that? First, I need to security.microsoft.com, right? Security.microsoft.com. Right? So once the security Microsoft comes, then where I need to go? I need to go to Sentinel. In the Sentinel, first where I need to go? I need to go to where? To install any connector. Respond.
Configuration.
Configuration will configure that, right? For the installation, I need to go to content management first. Okay. Content management. So I will go to content management, and where? It is in a content hub. The first activity that I need to do is I need to go to content management and then content hub. In this area, yesterday we have installed one, that is Enter ID, right? Now, what is today's one? Today's one is Azure activity. Activity. See, when I type and enter, I will get one that is known as Azure activity. See, the first one comes. Along with this, when I click on this, you can see that details. You can see what are the things that you are getting along with this particular data connector. You are getting 14 rules also, 15 queries, 2 workbooks. So that for this activity, you don't require to create more rules, more contents and more workbooks. Already they are providing, only we need to enable those. So for this, first I am installing. As it is not installed, I am selecting and I am installing this. And you can see the price is also free. Okay. You must check all the time, as I told you, right? So pricing, we must check. Install. So started installing. It takes few minutes, you people know. Right? This is installed. See. Now we have installed with one content, which is Azure activity, right? So now we need to configure this because we need to write a rule. Then only I will get the logs, right? So now I will go to my configuration and there is a data connector option is there, right? I'll go to data connector. Now you can see already we have installed Azure activity. Sorry, we have installed a Entra ID and the logs are coming very well. See, Azure activity logs are, sorry, Entra ID logs are coming. Now, what is our activity? We need to start collect the Azure activity logs. So for that, we need to configure. So when I click on the Azure activity, see there is a open connector page. Right now it is gray. That means no logs are coming, right? So what I want to do, I want to just go and start open a connector page because I need to write a DCR rule, right? Then only it will come to know from where I need to collect the logs and all. Okay. It is clearly mentioning. So you have a read and write, and you are the owner assigned with the, you have a capability to do this activity. If you have any issues, it will show the red symbol and saying that you don't have rights. Please come along with the rights. Okay. So we have successfully understood there are some, prerequisites which are actually calling for us, and it is clearly saying that okay, your prerequisites are okay. Now what is our next activity? What is our next activity? Very simple. Go and create a policy, DCR policy, that is also known as DCR rule. And here it's clearly saying now create a policy, give the instruction to the subscription level or a resource level. So if you are giving a resource level, it is only valid to the respective resource. If you are giving to the entire resource, then what happens? It will be valid to the entire subscription. Now I am going to launch a policy wizard to create a root. So first I will create a policy. So in the policy, it is asking the name of the policy. Let's say it is scope. Sorry, it is asking the scope. What is your scope? My scope is, let's say when I click this, it will give me the option C, Trinix. So I selected all, and if you want to go for a scope is exclusively one, then you have to, it will work for only that particular resource group. If you want to selected all, let's say if I selected Trinix means all selected, And that means it will implement it on all the resource group and future resource groups also. So what do you want? So you want all the resource group under the Linux, everyone should send the logs to your Sentinel, right? So I'm selecting subscription entirely, and there is no resource group I'm selecting because I want entire scope, Trinix. If I select only SOC group, so the logs will only collect from where? SOC group only. So that's why I want to collect it from each and every resource group. Now, exclusion. You want to do any exclusion? Yes, let's say I don't want to collect the logs from, especially, let's say, ARC group. Okay. Let's say there is a one ARC group. Consider I don't want to collect the logs and FFFF group. Okay. There are two groups. One is ARC group. One is FFFF group, where I don't want these two collection. Rest everywhere I want to collect the log. So I select those two. So it is omitted. Okay. See, two selected. Right. Policy name is to collect the log stream to a log analytic workspace. You can write the version. There are a version option is there. So you can select the latest version and select. Okay, that's it. So you want to give any, see, assignment name is configure Azure activity logs to stream to a specified no. If you don't want to give the specified name, you just give something name, specified name. Okay, let's say assignment name, let's say here in the bracket I'm telling SNTL 0425. Okay, 0425. Let's say log source, sorry, log, right? Now next, when I click next, it is asking you what is your log analytic workspace where you want to forward. Now you want to collect from logs, right? You are connecting the all the collect, but where do you want to forward? So you have to select the log space name. So here the list will be shown. You need to select the exact log source which you want to see. What is the workspace? I have two. So what workspace I want? I want a 0425 where I want to collect the logs. Okay. Select. Next. Any create a new remediation task. If just click remediation task, you don't require to do anything. Go next. Non-compliance message if logs are not collecting. Non-compliance. Just give any message. It is non-compliance from the policy. Okay. Next. So we have created, right? See, scope is this, exclusion of R group and FFF group, and where I am forwarding to 0425, right? See, 0425 law, and default level is okay, and we are forwarding the logs to Sentinel law. You can see here, right? Now just create. So now onwards, now once it is create, you can see in every resource group, when you go to the every resource group, you can see if you go to the resource group, there is an option here, settings. You can see there is a policy comes. See, in the policies, whatever the policy we have created so far, right? You can see that. You can see that there is a one policy has been added. You can see this is the one, right? I hope latest we have added. I think this is the one. You can see that. This is my MST training. No, this is MST training. So I can come to know, right? In the description we have written. So I think this is the one. Where it is forwarding. Not this one too. Let us see. Not even this. I think the new one is not yet received. Let's wait for some more time. Policies. See, there is a new one comes, right? Or this one, maybe. Not yet started, right? Maybe this one. See, SNTL 0425 added, right? So this is added to SNTL 0425. Even you can see the name exclusively because the name has been SNTL 0425. It is not started. It takes some time because just now added, right? It will start. It will start. You can see it is not yet started. It will take some more time to get start. Okay. So let's go and see in the other resource group. Let's say GUV resource group, whether it is there or not. In the policies, when you go to the policies, you can see it might have started. It might have been added. You can see here also. See log is 0425 is there, right? Similarly, whenever you go to any area, you will find that resource group and you can see those things. But where you will not see, you cannot see in a ARC group because we have not added that, right? When you see the ARC group in the policies, that looks there, but it will show you will not forward. See, it is there. It is there, but it's clearly mentioned in this area. As per the policy, it is not forwarding the logs. We have told to this particular log source, right, not to forward. So it will behave like that only. For this, it will not forward. Okay. So you can see the policy implemented. Now you can go back to you go back and refresh your Microsoft Defender. That is a Sentinel area. When you go and see in your configuration and the data connector, you may start getting received. Okay, it is also now how much time it will take, the minimum time? What's the minimum time? We have added the policy, right? We have added the policy. Now, what is the minimum time it will take to start collect? Because it is added and you are able to see in every, let's say I want to show you in every resource group in the policies. You will find that is there, but it is not yet started. It takes at least 1 hour, right? As I said, at least 1 hour. See, this one is ready, but it is not yet started because it requires the triggering time. Okay. So just wait for some more times, at least around wait for an hour. Otherwise, how can we make understand? So we'll go to the GOV and we'll start create something. We'll create something. So what we can do, let's say I'll create an Ubuntu server in this area. Let's say I want to create a Ubuntu machine. Okay. So let's say I want to create a Ubuntu machine and I'll go to create. So while creating is asking me the name, so I'm giving a Ubuntu mission, right? Ubuntu server. Okay. Central India availability zone is okay. Availability zone is okay. Any free versions that are available, let's say. So I want to take only free editions. Okay. But when I'm selecting the free also, right, it will charge you $8 monthly charge, right? And the username is, let's say, Ubuntu. And I want to log in with my SSH password. Let's say right. Right. Disk 30 GB, okay. Networking, okay. Okay, all are okay for me. It is updating. Okay. Next, review and create. So I'm creating a virtual machine. Okay. I want a virtual machine to install. So I want to just create a virtual machine. The name of the machine is Ubuntu server, that is in a GUV SOC. Now I'm doing some activity, right? So this, because in this GUV SOV resource group, I'm creating a Ubuntu machine. That is creation of resources. That should collect, right? That should create a log source. Sorry, logs, right? So when you go to the data connector and when you refresh, it may not come in this fast, but you will get the logs after some time. You can see there is a, it is not activated yet, but you need to wait for some more time. Like we have created, right? So simply, I will also go to another resources like SOCRG. Do we have anything? Okay, SOCRG, we have something. So I don't want test VM. I want to delete this. Okay, I want to delete this test VM. So I am deleting. See, yes, day before yesterday we created, right? Just for make us understand. Because we are doing deletion, creation, right? So what is the purpose of doing all this? Which will really give us a good understanding how can we manage our resources, whether this logs, because in the activity logs you can see, in the activity log you can find there is some deletion was happened. You can see after some, because it's still under deletion, right? See, you can see that when you refresh, you will find some deletion operation started. Here it is showing only creation. It's deleted, is still it is under process. But there is a creation, right? In the which one? In the GUV SOC, which we have created a Ubuntu server, right? When you see here, when you go to your activity log, you can find there is some activity, creation of deployment, generation of diagnosis log. So you can come to know what you have created. See, what is your create deployment, update network. So everything that you got these operations, right? So that those things have been understood. Similarly, once it is deleted, you can even find in the SOCRG. See, there are 6 deleted, right? So you can go to now in the SOCRG and the activity logs. Now you can find, see, there are some deletions of, see, deleted a virtual machine. Got it? So proper deletion details I'm able to understand here. Okay. So now once we deleted activities in a SOCRG, creation of resources in the GUV SOC, all the logs should go to where? It will go to this Azure activity logs, because I enabled the policy in these two areas, not only these two, all the resource groups. Okay. Now just need to wait, and I hope it takes, as I said, it takes around 40 to 50 minutes. So we need to wait. If sometimes comes, but I'm not very sure right now it has started. It is not yet started. So we need to wait. We need to wait. There is no option for us. If you want to see this, it will not work, right? It will not work because we need to wait. So likewise, you can install your Azure activity log source. Any doubts with respect to Azure activity? So why we are writing the DCR rule? Why we are actually identifying our, resources? What are the things that which we need to collect and all, right? So you have seen just now. So why we are writing the data connector rule? How can we put an exemption? What is the purpose of writing rule? Everything that we have understood. Any doubts towards this? So I hope it is very clear. When you see, I'll go to data country here. I can see whether it's added or not. When I refresh, you will find the ninth data connector. It is not. It is not started yet. It is only showing as an activity. I'm actually waiting. If the logs comes, I can show you because tomorrow what we can do is something like, see, it takes some time. As I said, no worry. Tomorrow we can see this. Now it's time for installing your similar fashion. If we create any VMs, we want to collect the logs from a VM, like we have created just now a Ubuntu server, right? We have just created a Ubuntu server. So in the GUV SOC, I created Ubuntu server, right? So when I click on the Ubuntu server, you can see when I go to the policies settings, there is a policies option there where it is gone. Policies in the operation, there's the policies, right? So right now there is no, of course, there might be older policies, maybe there. This is GUV SOC, sorry. Uh, this is GUV SOC policies there, but there is no Azure logs policy. So which is actually I want to forward it to uh, this particular Ubuntu server. So how can I wait a while? Ubuntu server. Now this is Ubuntu server, okay? When I see there is any policy, this is again Ubuntu related activities only coming. Sorry, GOV SOC activity only coming. Create and update a. So this is exclusively. I wanna stop this. Stop the virtual machine right now. Now we can install this, policies on this also. On this also we can forward the set of the policy so that it will install an agent inside the Ubuntu server and it will forward the logs to us. Okay. So we will do that. For that, I will set up a Ubuntu server. Like Ubuntu server, I will also create one more server known as let's say I will also create where in the resource group, right? In the GUV SOC. GUV SOC. Like Ubuntu server, I will also create one more server that is Windows server. Day before yesterday I created, but I missed out this one. Like I'll create a Windows server. Let's say Windows 29 data center. Windows Server 29 data center. Okay. Virtual nation name is Windows Win 2019. Okay. I want to keep it in Central India. Let's say Central India. As a so very small disk. Okay. Free service available. So I'm using with the free service available. I'm giving admin. Okay. Tiger. Right. Right. So RDP is started 30 GB standard HDD. Okay. Go and next. Let it go. I'm just creating a common machine. Okay. It's validated. Create. See, other machine is also getting created. So what I'll do, like we forwarded the logs, like Azure sent it, Azure this one. We also Linux and Azure Windows machines log separately to the Sentinel. So for that, we have two types of this one services that is known as syslog, and the other one is uh, Azure data connectors. Okay, Azure or can say AAD connectors that I will discuss in a tomorrow session. Okay, because we only set up machines now. When you see the GOV SOC, you will have Ubuntu server or Windows server. Both the server are there. Okay. So both the server are having the same virtual network. That is Central India. I'm using the same Central India network. So I think both will work. No problem. Got it. So we have a Windows machine, which is I'm stopping right now. Tomorrow we'll start this. Okay. We will start the same machine. Guna, you have any queries? Okay, guys, we have successfully installed two machines. One is Ubuntu and one is Windows. Tomorrow we'll see how to forward the logs from this particular Windows and Ubuntu server. Okay, from the Ubuntu server. Yeah, Guna, you have any queries? So you can see the data connector might have come up the logs. Let us see with the Azure activity. If the logs comes, then I can at least close this scenario. Okay. Sorry, it's not updated. It takes some more time on its own. Okay. Okay. In tomorrow, for the tomorrow's activity, we'll start Ubuntu and Windows log installations, and we will forward the logs from Windows machine and Ubuntu machine of VMs. Only we are now, first we are integrating the VMs of Azure portal. Thereafter, we will see from the My Machine also. I will forward my logs, My Machine logs to Azure portal. I will show you all those things by placing an agent. Okay. So here for forwarding the logs, we need to write the rules like DCR rules. We need to write a DCR rules for both the VMs, and for other legacy machines like on-premises machine, we need to install an agent. I will show you that on day before, I mean, uh, day after tomorrow for on-premises. For tomorrow, we'll see the VMs of Azure portal, how you need to integrate. Okay. So this is all about for the day. We'll meet in tomorrow's session. Thank you so much. And we can see the Azure connector activation also in tomorrow's session that you will get it. Yeah, Varlakshmi.
Actually, yesterday said I have some issue.
Yeah, could you please share your screen now?
Yeah.